Wiggle.
How did you get involved with TRG? How did you meet Emil, Tim, John, and become friends with them? From Insert Steven here. I truly met them through Adriana. Adriana knew Emil and Massey. I think that they found out that they were creators in a very similar space on YouTube, and I think they met up for a symphony concert, and that's where they met and hit it off. So Emil was friends with some of the video game cover artists, but he actually wasn't it didn't seem like he was super interested in mine. So I always thought that he hated my covers because of whatever, like maybe they didn't sound very good or whatever. And then I got to meet him through Adriana, and then through Emil, I met Tim. I'd seen Tim all over the place at conventions, and like we had both seen each other. We'd both been around the similar circles, and then eventually we're like, hey, it's good to finally talk and stuff. Because we both have been, I think, aware of each other. We just hadn't really like chatted and chilled or whatever. But yeah, and then I met John through helping out give prizes and stuff for Throne controllers. So it's all pretty much thanks to Adriana, I would say, is how I met those guys. And yeah, here's a question for a future Q&A. This is from Lunar Star. Do you have a musical signature? Maybe a melody you often use in a solo or something you sneak into the background of your covers? I'm trying to think, because like there's a few things that I do in like almost every solo. If anything, dive bombs are a signature, so that kind of a sound I do a lot in my solos. I'll do a lot of high string harmonics. So I'll do stuff like if I've got something that I'm, and then I might go I'll hit stuff like that to kind of like extend the range of it. I'll have to practice it for each riff, but yeah, my ears are starting to hurt. That's usually what'll happen. Here, you said your ears are hurting. Let me turn it up a little bit for you. But yeah, anyway, there's an Yngwie Malmsteen riff that I throw into a lot of stuff. It's like, there's this other riff I like to use a lot. Something like that I'll do a lot. It's like a little sweep tap. And then the other thing is, something like that. And that's like a Locrian kind of a feel. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. You'll hear probably one of those in every single solo I ever do. We found out how you met the Random Encounters gang and Adriana. How did you meet Mr. Internet Funny Man Alpharad? Actually, technically through Adriana as well. Adriana's the one who, I guess, helps me meet all these people because I'm such a total recluse. I think Alpharad hit up Adriana and was like, hey, I'm gonna be in town for a convention and it'd be cool to meet up. And we went and got food and I met him through that. He was cool. Yeah. Micaiah Burnett says, do you feel that you act different between FamilyJules and Jules Conroy, or are you just you in each? They're both me, but they're both different because I feel like, think of it this way, like when you're performing, in either way, you're being mindful to the you that you are trying to put out into the world. You know what I mean? Like you want to put your best self out there, and you're not always your best self, right? So you're constantly working to try to put your best self out there, and that's going to be different whether or not you're making music or whether or not you're talking. When I'm making music, I am very cautious about wanting to make sure that I do present myself in a way that seems confident, that seems like I'm having fun. Not because I'm not confident or that I'm not having fun, but make sure that that's coming across, if that makes sense. And that I'm not hindering that because that's the way I would like to be perceived. There was a point at which I was afraid of looking like a douchebag, but then I said, fuck it, whatever. I would rather look like a confident douchebag than a self-conscious pussy. I don't know. you know what I mean? Like, but then for stuff like this, it's different because I have to definitely be more quick-witted with my words, the way that I talk, the things that I say. But when I'm making music, I don't have to talk, So I'm not choosing words, I'm choosing notes. But it's different because I am not trying to put myself out as a confident person. when I'm talking. I feel like I'm more trying to be real, and I'm more trying to like get to the core of who I am, because I am truly deeply confident in myself of being a good person, or at least a person that does not have ill will for pretty much anybody and just genuinely wants the best for other people. I try to touch that core and pretty much use that as a funnel for everything that I speak about. So those are two completely different ways of me being myself, if that makes sense. So yes, I act different between FamilyJules and Jules Conroy, but they are both me in a different way, I would say. Lyrid Prime asks, when are we going to get a metal cover of KK Bubblegum? I have thought a lot about doing this. I think it would be really fun to do KK Bubblegum, but it seems like it's one of those things where if I did it, I'd have to get Adriana to do that or whatever. Like, and that video that was on Not Alpharad is like the highest performing video on his channel. I don't know. There's something about that video that I just feel like I'd like to do it, and I'd like to do a full version of it with Adriana where we kind of make a full thing, but I think Adriana kind of feels that video should just be its own thing. You know what I mean? And I kind of agree. I think it'd be nice for people who would want a full version of it, but I don't think it would capture the same magic that video did. And I almost feel like it would retract from it in some ways. So I don't know. It's tough. It's definitely been on the list of things like we can do it, but are we really passionate about doing it? I don't know. And if I don't do it with Adriana, then people are going to be like, why didn't you do this with Adriana? And I would be like, I don't know. Because like a lot of the time, if people are like, why didn't you do this with somebody? It's just like, because like it wouldn't have been the best move. But this is like, yeah, it would be the right. I don't know. It's confusing. That one's tough. That one is tough, you know, but let it be known that we have thought about it. We have thought about doing a full version of that one. BRZ1994 asks, would you ever consider doing anime covers? Just wondering because there are a few soundtracks I would like to hear your style on, like Fairy Tail, for example. I've done some My Hero Academia stuff on the FamilyJules channel, of course, but it's tough because every time I dip into anime, it doesn't have the same feel that video game music does for me. I don't know. It like there is kind of like when I'm on the path of like making a video game cover, I feel like it just feels right. And when I start to deviate from it a little bit, like when I do like movie covers, or which I haven't done in a very, very long time, or if I do anime and stuff, it's still fun, but it doesn't feel as right. I don't know why. I don't know why it doesn't feel as right to me. I've done Ruby. Ruby is a weird middle ground because anime, like I love anime. You know, my favorite anime is Clannad. Some of the best forms of stories and stuff I've ever heard has been through anime, and some of the best music is from that anime. You know, Studio Ghibli is like classic, and I would love to cover some stuff from Studio Ghibli. I actually saw the Joe Hisaishi concert 2 years ago, I think it was. Got to meet him. You got to meet Joe Hisaishi, which was insane. And yeah, so it's not something that I'm against doing. It's just something that like I feel like I'll do every once in a while, but it's not ever going to be the main thing I do or be part of my main thing. Metallica fan with an exclamation point asks, watching your old videos, I can see a lot of Avenged Sevenfold posters. What song got you into them? Which album is your favorite? Coming from a fellow A7X fanboy. There was this girl from Canada I used to play Battlefield 1942 with when I was like 11 or 12, and I remember telling her about all the bands I liked, and you know, they were all bands that I had found out through like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, like Dead Kennedys, and then that kind of morphed into Less Than Jake, Real Big Fish, and stuff like that. And she'd be like, hey, what bands do you like? And I was like, oh, Real Big Fish, like, Sell Out With Me, oh yeah, Sell Out With. And she was like this like alt punk kind of a girl, and she was like, I'll show you some real shit. And she sent me Vermilion Part 2 by Slipknot, and I Won't See You Tonight Part 2 from Avenged Sevenfold. Both Part 2s. she really liked the Part 2. Songs with Part 2 in the title. That was the first time I'd ever heard anything like that. So obviously I heard Part 1 and I was like, this is a little bit much, but I was already exposed to a little bit of that because I remember hearing a song from Lamb of God off of New American Gospel that was in one of the Tony Hawk games, and that was my first exposure to like really aggressive screaming music, and I feel like I didn't really vibe with it at the time, But because I'd experienced that, it kind of softened me to be ready for it the next time I dove into it. And the next time I dove into it, I was in love. I was in love with it. So, Leaving Song Part 2 by AFI, probably. If I gave her any more time, she probably would have given me that one too. My favorite album is Waking the Fallen, but the stage ties for it. Mr. Easterband asks, how does it feel to be acknowledged as best guitar by the best doggo? Mr. Easterband is referring to Korone, the VTuber. I sent her a birthday message. I'm a big fan of her streams, of me playing guitar to a remix of her voice. And she also played Cadence of Hyrule, and she put 2 and 2 together and found out that I was the guitarist on Cadence of Hyrule and the one that sent her that guitar. And she's also a huge fan of the Pollyanna cover by Carlos, which I was in. So, she put all those things together, and she was like, wow, I love your guitar work and stuff, which was amazing because I'm a huge fan of her streams. I think I've talked a lot about why I like VTubers. I'm not really the kind of person that I feel like would get into VTubers. I'm not like a super heavy anime lover. Like I don't binge anime shows. I only have ever watched a few. I don't know. I wasn't expecting that I would like VTubers, but the thing that really drew me in was there was something about Korone, something about Pecora, Okayu, all of these VTubers that when I would watch their streams, it would feel good. It would just feel good to kind of watch their content, and it wasn't coming from a place of like, oh, that's something I want to do, which is something that like I only ever experienced before. I would always see a musical artist and be blown away from that. But like my draw in was more, I love how they make me feel and I want to make other people feel that. Or I am so amazed at what this person can do. That would be amazing if I could do that too. With these VTubers, especially Korone, for the first time I enjoyed online content that I just wanted to enjoy. And it just filled me up and filled me with joy to watch it. And finally, I had a frame of reference for what I hope other people feel when they watch me. I never had a frame of reference for that. I only had the frame of reference for like, music and stuff like that. So that was so important. So important. For me, and I think it was a really, really important part of me growing as a content creator. Gives me a frame of reference for what I want to be able to do for other people. Oh, that's so funny. The next question is, a metal cover of a ska song would be incredible. Suggestion, Sell Out by Real Big Fish. So we're literally just talking about that song. All right, I'll answer a few questions from chat. Virus YTS, what is your stream title? Well, I will tell you. Who's Daddy's Little Bunger? That's right, it's you. Thank you, I hate it. I'm glad. Opinions on Bunger. Bunger is great. Bunger is good. Would you ever go back and remake a song that you covered before? I already have. I did that with Sweden from Minecraft, and I would love to as well. I've done that a lot more with songs I did very shortly in a medley. I've gone back and done full versions, and that's something that I want to do more often in the future. What was your dream job as a kid? I wanted to be an astronaut. Would you ever consider submitting a run to GDQ? Yeah. It would have to be good. It'd have to be a run I would be, a run I'd be good at. If you guys enjoyed this Q&A, and you're watching this on YouTube, leave me a comment below, and maybe I'll answer your question. But for now, that is the end of Q&A number, whatever the hell this number is. Thank you so much for watching. I'm still disappointed in you, son. But who's Daddy's little pogchamp? Who's Daddy's little bunger? That's you.
Hey, you. You're finally a
Bunger.